Hello everyone, this is Hannah from Anime America, and welcome to another episode of Watch and Wait. I'm very excited to get to the simuldubs that are airing this week, but I just wanted to point out something that I noticed a bit in the comments, and I wanted to clarify this. Here's the thing, guys. I like dubs. And it's a bias because it's the language that I speak. It's really nothing other than that. This isn't me saying that dubs are superior to subs. It's all just a matter of preference. But this is not an elitist thing. This is not a superior or inferior. This is all just a preference. I will never say that one is better than the other. I will always say I prefer one to the other. And that is my final stance on the subject. So we're going to move forward with this week's premieres, and the first one that we're going to look at is Handshakers. Oh my god, why does everything look wrong? Okay, let me try to explain myself. The way the camera pans around the characters and the fluid motion of the animation completely pull me out of the experience. It doesn't do a good job at establishing what's going on in the world either. A lot of it relies on the "we'll tell you more about it" trope, or the show gets wrapped up in its big fight scene to get everybody interested cliche. And yet, somehow, I'm intrigued and still want to see what might be considered a veritable train wreck of a show. I don't know if it's one of those things, if it's so bad I just find it good/interesting. The characters aren't bad, for the most part, but the relationship between Kayori and Tazuna seems interesting, and the animation is a little better during the final battle in the end of the episode. Hell, even the battle concept is pretty interesting. The partners have to hold hands for pretty much the rest of their lives or their partner will die. There are some interesting elements, but I'm gonna wait on this. They recently announced the cast at Funimation, and I'm really excited to see some of the names that are behind it. But whatever it is, I can't seem to let go of Handshakers. Next, things are gonna get a little trippy with Chaos Child. Now, I've watched all of Chaos Head, which is the show that comes before Chaos Child. I watched all of it in Japanese. I did it multiple times and I had no problem following the show. But Chaos Child, I couldn't follow everything that was happening and I was missing things here and there. Now, all that being said, I haven't seen any of Chaos Head dubbed, and frankly, I don't plan to. This is one of those very few instances where I have seen a cast list and I immediately think to myself, I don't want to see this show dubbed. I'm usually really open-minded about casts, and I try not to judge until I actually watch the show, but Todd Haberkorn playing Takumi, I just can't see it. And now he's back for Chaos Child, and I feel incredibly torn. With all my reservations, I'll probably just end up watching the show without seeing the dub. I might still check out the dub because there are some actors in it that I like, but I'm not really looking forward to it. Now it's time to get mythical with Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I'm a sucker for Kyoto Animation, and this title is no exception. This show is about a young woman who offers a dragon a place to stay, and the dragon happily takes her up on that offer. However, coming into the city looking like a giant dragon draws a lot of attention, so the dragon lives with Kobayashi as a young maid named Toru. The show is every bit as adorable and hilarious as it would be expected. This is certainly one of the more adorable titles from Kyoto Annie, and that's saying quite a bit. However, these stories do have a tendency to get a little more heavy as the story goes on, and the first episode has definitely already hinted at that. I'm excited to continue the show. It's funny, it's adorable, it's bubbly, it's bright, and it's all things that are good about Kyoto Animation. Time to take to the stars with Eld Live. I have zero idea what to make of this show. It's beyond run-of-the-mill. Stories about a young boy, Chuta, who has a mysterious voice in his head. He gets recruited by a space police organization called Eldlive because their space computer told them to. He's told to apprehend a criminal to test his potential. It turns out the voice in his head is an ancient being whose powers manifest in a way that allow him to fight back. God, this was the only show that I considered a chore to watch. There's nothing fun. There's nothing charming. It's just a boring show. I honestly don't think I'll follow this for the rest of the season, but giving a choice here, I'm gonna give this one a wait. Maybe I'll get a little more fun out of the English cast, but I'm really not expecting too much. Nothing like a little high school drama. Let's take a look at Masamune-kun's Revenge. This show has no right to be this funny. The story is incredibly shallow. Masamune has transferred into a school where there is a girl who made fun of him, and his immediate plan is to find some way to get back at her for being such an ice queen. They're both jerks, and they both have their own very shallow nature, but the show plays that up by making them both the butt of several jokes throughout the show. Masamune is not painted in the best light since he's an arrogant jerk, and Aki is certainly not a nice person by any stretch of the imagination. However, unlike other titles, this show knows that these are both terrible people, and that becomes part of the joke. It's people's reactions to them. Whether or not they're going to be fooled by Masamune's charm or by Aki's delicate nature, that creates the humor and the drama. Usually I can't stand shows like this, but I'm really enjoying Masamune-kun's Revenge. I'm gonna keep checking it out now, and I'll check it out again once the dub starts airing. Bring on the battle! It's time to fight back with Chain Chronicle. This show is... That's really all I've got for it. It's an anime based on a strategy game. Nothing about this show stands out. It's pretty standard, cut and dry fantasy stuff. There's a group of volunteer soldiers out to save the world from an evil ruler with the power of the magical whatever thingy that represents all things good in the world. I'm all for generic stories and generic looking shows. I watch them all the time, but I usually watch them dubbed because I find them to be mindless entertainment, and that's where this one is falling onto the spectrum for me. Nothing has me too excited to look into the show any more than I have, so I'll be waiting for the dub on this one. And finally, we're going back to school with Koro Sensei Quest. This is a perfect example of why I have a watch and wait format. When I first saw Assassination Classroom, I didn't like it. I just couldn't follow the humor, so to me it was bizarre and interesting, but it wasn't funny. Then when the dub came out, I loved it. It quickly became one of my favorite shows of 2015. Call it my attachment to the actors or what have you. It's because of the dub that I got invested in the show and went into season 2 ready to give the sub another try. And I still enjoyed the show. That being said, I'm gonna be waiting for the dub on this one. I will admit I have an incredible bias towards the dub of this show, and I don't mind waiting for it. On the show itself, the concept is adorable. I'm a huge fan of old school RPGs, so I hope this does nothing but parody it the entire time. It looks like a ton of fun, and I can't wait for class to be in session. And that is going to wrap it up for all the shows announced for the Winter 2017 Funimation Simul-Dub lineup. I doubt Funimation will bring anything new, but hey, Eldlive was announced just last week, so who knows what could happen. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to share this video on your preferred social media, leave a comment, leave a like, click that bell icon to get notified when we upload, and stay tuned to Anime America.